Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. Today we are going to make a custom battle system because somebody at YouTube named Epic Characters brought up the idea of a custom battle system, and I'm all, sure, why not? I'll go ahead and throw one into the game just to show what that's like, because when it comes to RPG Maker 1, creating a custom battle system is... it's interesting, we'll say that. You've already seen the default battle system, it's the first-person Dragon Warrior style battle system, and as I've said before, you cannot modify it. You can make things for it, but you cannot change how it actually works. And unfortunately, when it comes to RPG Maker 1, your resources are a little bit limited if you want to create a custom battle system. So if I go into the stats menu, all of this right here, this is only read by RPG Maker itself. You, as a developer, don't have access to any of this. So you cannot have a script be, hey, check what your character's strength is right now, or hey, check how much health your character has right now. The only thing that can check this information is your equipment and the default battle system and healing items and that sort of thing. So the health situation is the biggest hurdle. How do you create a custom battle system if you cannot tell how much health you or the monster has? Basically, you're going to have to get creative. So let's start with the situation with the health of the demon that we're going to be fighting in this fight. First off, let's go ahead and get him into the fight. There he is right there. So, when this fight starts, we're going to have to give him a certain amount of health. Another issue, by the way, that I should totally bring up, probably if you're familiar with the PC RPG makers, you might have noticed that there is a feature that is notably absent from RPG Maker. We have switches, but we don't have variables. Variables basically keep track of numbers. So in this case we have a switch where it's like, hey, switch 5, it's either on or it's off. If this was a variable option, we could have, hey, variable 5, or variable 4, whatever, has this number associated with it. For example, switch variable number 4 could be the number 324. The variables would be useful for keeping track of the amount of things, you know, like a character's health. Or maybe you would be collecting a bunch of mushrooms, and you need to collect 20 of them, so every time you collect one, you would add to variable 4, and then something special will happen once variable 4 would reach 20. Hopefully that makes sense. It is very hard to explain, and it's very hard to explain a feature that does not exist. At least in this RPG Maker. So without variables, I'm going to have to get creative when it comes to how much health the boss has. So what I'm going to do is create an item. And we're going to call this oh, that was not an M. We're gonna call this mid boss HP. And it's not gonna be anything that does anything when you use it from your inventory, so we'll make sure that the player can't use it or anything. So we'll start the fight with a whole bunch of those items. So intro event, inventory, and I'd say he's probably going to take 5 hits to take down, so we're going to give the player 4 of these. Now, the reason why I'm giving him 4 instead of 5 is because the idea is, once you've depleted all of these, he must be at his last hit point because you have none left. Now, of course, the downside to this is we're going to have this item in the player's inventory, and if they happen to look at their inventory, they will find it. But for a battle system like this, or any battle system in RPG Maker, this is, for the most part, your only option. Another option, if you could have, is a lot of pages with a lot of switches. So, like, hey, this page is when they have 5 HP. They get hit. Now switch to a page where they're... Come on. Now switch to a page where they have like 4 HP. And then so now we're at 4 HP. And then 3 HP and that sort of thing. That is another option. And it is also very memory intense to create a page for every amount of HP that you or the boss may happen to have. So that is why I'm going with the item option. If I could go back into it. So that is his health. As long as he has that health, he's not going to die. Now, once he's down to almost dead, I'm going to have him change color. This will be when he's at almost no HP right here. Kind of like classic video games where you're fighting a boss and they're becoming more purple whenever they're almost dead. Basic same concept here. Now, as for the player, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different here. So what I'm going to start off here is create an event right here. It's going to be a spark. And these sparks are going to be kind of hazards. In fact, I'm going to place it like right over here. And this one going to be duplicate over there. And let's see here. So this is definitely going to take a whole lot of forethought. So I'm going to be using the the party option. We haven't used this option yet. Basically, this is a page condition that checks how many party members are currently on your team. Kind of weird that it allows you to go over 4, considering you can't actually have more than 4 party members on your team. Although then again, it's not actually letting me choose more than 4, but it's still letting me scroll above 4, which is interesting. So how do I want to do this? I believe what I want to do... So this page right here is going to effects. We need effects. We're going to have the sparkles be the hazards of this fight. And every time we step on one, where is my sound effect list again? Sound 21. There we go. And this will essentially remove a party member from our team. That is how I'm going to do this. The amount of party members on our team is going to represent our health. Every time we get zapped, we lose one party member, and if we only have one party member left, that means our last party member is going to get zapped and we lose. So that's what I need to set up here, which is going to be a little bit complicated, but here goes something. So party members, remove Jenny, because odds are the player is going to have Jenny. She's the one character who is not entirely optional. Mind you, I do have a situation where, as we go under the castle, the player totally has the option of not rescuing Jenny. I will definitely account for that as we go along. But our default situation, remove Jenny. And also have the player flash a little bit. Where is flashing? There we go. So that would cause us to lose Jenny. Now let's go ahead and not create a third page yet. We're going to go ahead and create a page where it's like we only have one party member left. So we'll have the lightning effect. Oop, not twice. Party display goes, party display disappear. But when they do that, we're going to have the death sound effect. And the death sound effect is that sound effect. And there'll be a momentary wait so that the fade is kind of proper. And we're going to go ahead and have a song play to kind of represent that, hey, you kind of lost. Not that song, for certain. That song. How depressing. So let's go ahead and display a message. No, before we display a message, we'll fade out the screen. Fade out the screen, which is right here. And we'll display a message. Game over. Nine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At which point, here's another thing about RPG Maker 1. RPG Maker 1's Game Over is only accessible whenever you're using the default battle system, which is why I'm making a custom message for the Game Over. So I'm actually going to have the game continue onward and move us back into the save point, like so. And make sure that when we get back in here, the screen is not faded out anymore. And I'm gonna have to figure something out in order to add back the party members, despite the fact that it's entirely possible the player did not grab them along the way. In fact, I might have to make it so that the player does have to grab them along the way. But I'll figure that out as we go along. Now, as for mid-boss here, let's go ahead and set him up so that, well, first off, let's have him kind of move randomly. And let me go ahead and throw the script together here. So, sound effect. That's the sound effect, and I'm kind of gonna try to mimic the default battle system in this situation. And I will do that by changing event graphic. It's gonna be a flame because that's like the closest I can get to a hit graphic visually. I mean, if you squint your eyes, it's kind of like the hit graphic. It's going to be that for a split second before he changes back to himself. And then another sound effect. And shake the screen is what we're going to do next. Swing it, rather. And we're going to remove one of his health. At which point, he's actually going to be teleporting around in order to get away from you, because otherwise, well, let's be honest, he's not going to just stand in one place and take it. So, let's see, here, or here is probably where he's going to wind up going. So we'll have a three-way choice, randomly. He's going to disappear while we have an effect playing. This one? Yeah. And the sound effect that I've decided for this is that one. Actually, for consistency, that's the same effect that is going on in the shop whenever the sweepstake guy disappears. So let me check the ordering of the sound and that sort of thing for that. Disappears before the light. Okay, so yeah. Make him disappear before the light. Actually, we're going to want to have this effect play before he moves, because it's really only the moving that's going to be random. So, quickly move here, or here, or here. Now, do I really want him moving random? Because there's a chance that he would just wander back into a spot that he teleports to, only to teleport right back to that spot. So I feel like he needs to kind of move around a little bit differently. Maybe instead of randomly moving around, he goes like up and down. Possibly. Except whenever he's on his last phase. Let's go ahead and test out what we got so far. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me first check to make sure that he is set to check. Because I want the player to actually be the one punching him, not touching him. There. Yeah, this battle system's definitely going to be complicated. Okay, let's see how this actually looks here. So we hit him. Stop walking away. Stop. I don't have that right. I definitely did not have that set up right. You know why? Because I have the special effect, first off, playing on the main character rather than him. Also, would be helpful to have him have the effect play whenever he reappears. So let's make sure that happens. It is a little unfortunate that his animation resets whenever he's walking across that, because every time the script takes back over to him, his pose resets. So across all that, he's kind of stepping left foot every time. Yeah, that's something I was kind of worried would possible happen. And now he's almost out of health. So I might have to, like, try to figure out a way to make it so that he can't teleport to a spot that he's already at. Which will take a little bit more thinking than I have time to do right now, unfortunately. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get zapped. Lost Jenny. Of course, since we have Daristrix along on our team, we can't actually die from this because it's not taking into consideration that Daristrix is on our team right now. There's definitely a lot to do with this fight still. Not only trying to figure out how to make him not teleport to the same spot twice in a row, but also need to make it so that these crumble under us. The idea being that we don't want to step on these more than once or we fall and instantly lose. We also need to make sure that we properly lose if we step on these things too many times. They also need to be moving around, and there needs to be more of them. So yeah, definitely a lot to do with this fight yet. Well, I don't have time for that now. Gotta end this stream. 5 more streams. I gotta finish this game in 5 more streams. and most of the next one will be spent working on this battle system. Wish me luck.